So I'm now in the main pasture, and there's a bunch of chestnuts here I'd like to show you. There was the chestnuts that I showed you before that were the T0613, that timber form of chestnut. I started those from seed and planted those the same year that I started these from seed and planted them. It was all one giant grow out of lots and lots of chestnut trees that I did that year. You know, hundreds. I can't remember how many. At least well over 100, maybe 150. So these are seedlings of a different variety. Some are tsukuba, some are Percosi magule seed. These are grown from chestnut seed that were from specific different varieties. So Percosi magule, tsukuba, not T06, Marron de Val de Sousa. There's a fourth one that I'm blanking on right now. Here it was, but you can see the difference in growth habit. You know, these are shorter and bushier. Now, these are not restricted by a tree tube, so that could be affecting how they're growing, but this is my best row of the other type of seedling. You know, these are all pretty tall, pretty bushy looking, lots of healthy leaves. That little guy is probably the worst in this row. Then as we go along here, there's some crappier ones, but you know, this guy looks pretty good. This one looks pretty good. Unfortunately, I don't know which particular varieties here or seedlings are doing well. I don't know if there's a pattern, but you can see all of them in this row. This row is doing pretty decent too. This is probably the worst one, the little guy, but you know, he's doing okay. And then, you know, we got another good one there. This one's doing good. It's kind of hard to tell because he's got all this thimbleberry around him, but he's doing pretty good. Then there's a couple crappy ones in this row. This one's, he's okay. He's not too terrible. This one's decent. This next guy looks like garbage. He has a look that I've come to associate after growing a lot of chestnuts now with a lack of health and vigor, and just, you know, he's probably about to top kill his whole growth there. This guy, he's doing really well. He's probably the tallest of these that I've planted out here in this section. You know, could that be growing taller growth because of competition with these firs? It's possible. I will be thinning these firs this year, so there'll be less competition. Hopefully more forage growth underneath of there for the sheepy ladies. And we got another row here. They're doing decent. That one's okay. It's doing pretty good. This one looks okay, but this one, if you look at the base, you can see previous years, you know, tops. So this one has top killed almost every year. Now, it does grow back bigger every year than the previous year after top kill, but I don't like the whole top kill. To me, that top kill, that's something that chestnut trees that are being affected by the chestnut blight do, and they just never are very successful long term. We're not supposed to have chestnut blight here in Western Washington. A lot of my chestnut seed and chestnut tree sources are from a nursery called Burnt Ridge Nursery, and they told me that we don't have to worry about that here in Western Washington, but there's some trees I'll show you later that they look they look an awful lot like chestnut blight to me. So I do have my concerns, and maybe it's just something about my particular microclimate here that makes us more prone to chestnut blight, but this one's doing great. Looks really good. This guy's, he's all right. I wouldn't call him great, but he's doing his thing. He's nice and bushy. This one looks pretty bad compared to the others, but the good thing with this one is he's never top killed, so he's still growing. He does have that leaf bleaching going on that some of the trees have. I still haven't figured out what that leaf bleaching is. If anyone knows what causes that, I'd love to know. The answer is probably that there's multiple multiple causes of that. Kind of reminds me of what happens to some of our citrus trees in the greenhouse. And we've got another guy here. He looks really good. He's got a nice upright growth habit. This one looks pretty bad, but he's never top killed completely, so I'm gonna leave him. But he's got that bleaching on the leaves. This guy, he looks pretty terrible. He's probably gonna get replaced. And then we have this little bushy guy. He's pretty good. He's never top killed. This tall one here, he's decent. He really decided to shoot for the stars this year. That's that top you see there, that's all new growth this year. He basically quadrupled in height. And this one, he looks decent. You can see the trailing blackberry loves growing over here. I picked a lot of good berries off of this little patch while I was watering trees this year. And over here, I wasn't able to line up a hot line here because this side of the pasture is shorter, but I've got a few trees spaced out here to still create some shade in the pasture. This one, I'm quite happy with. This guy, he was one of the healthiest trees in this row, and then the sheep busted down the original fencing I had around here. I had this like kind of plastic fencing. They busted it down, they completely defoliated him, ate every single leaf off of him. I was pretty concerned about him, but I think that happened in beginning of July. But I babied it, I gave it some nutrients and water once a week, and now he's doing really, really, really well. So leafy and healthy. Happy with that one. This one died. You can see that yellow flagging tape there. There's a bunch of spots in the pasture that I'm going to plant some hazelnuts from seed, just direct sow them in these spots. So this one will get about 5 hazelnuts grown in its place where it died. That one didn't do well. This guy looks good, doing well. This one's doing really good. Nice and tall and bushy. I like that. This one died. This one's gonna get, well, didn't die completely. It's got a couple leaves down there, but it's top killed every year and barely grows back. You can see it's got that bleaching going on. But this is that plastic fencing that I told you about that the sheep tore down and destroyed that first one. So hopefully this one I'll probably replace this fencing around this one, and hopefully a hazelnut will like this spot better than the chestnut goes. But I've got quite a mix of trees out here. So still in the main pasture here. This section I had planted a bunch of, there's 2 rows here. I had planted a bunch of seedling persimmons, the native persimmon from the East Coast. And they did terrible. You know, here's one. This is a, quote unquote good one that, kind of came back this year. But you can see it top killed. It top kills every single year. Did terrible. There's, over there, there. This one looks a little better than that previous one, but still pretty terrible. They've had their chance. They've had, probably 4 or 5 years now to try to grow. Just haven't done well. I did replant some of the spots that completely died with the white mulberry that I started from seed. This one's okay looking, but I'm just really not happy with them. Not really happy with many of the mulberries that I planted here. So I'm probably going to dig this one out. That's why it's got the white or the flagging tape on there. Probably going to dig this one out and try to plant hazelnuts here. There's one persimmon, the best of all of them, that's doing, I don't know, okay. It's not really that okay for the number of years it's been in the ground, but it's way better than the others. That's this guy. He's growing. I'm probably just going to leave him and see what he does, but I'm never going to get any persimmons out of these because there's just not enough of them. There's males and females, and there's not going to be any pollination regardless of what sex this one is. So most of this section this year is going to get planted with the chestnut seed that I have. Sorry, the hazelnut seed, not chestnut seed that I have. Then we come to these chestnut trees. These are chestnut trees that I bought chestnut seedlings from Burnt Ridge Nursery. I bought a bunch of different varieties. Marisar didn't do well, Silverleaf didn't do great. But I bought a whole bunch of them to see what did well. That was before I started just growing tons from seed myself, which was really successful. But these are some pretty tall ones. These have been in the ground for a good while now. They did the most flowering they've ever done this year, and it looks like we're going to get a few chestnuts from these. This guy's the biggest and tallest that I have. And he's probably, oh geesh, they're so loud. I'm not here to mess with you. But this one's nice and tall. It's doing really, really well. I'm really happy with that one. Made a lot of male flowers this year. I didn't see any female flowers, and I don't see any burrs on it. But this one here, let's see if I can show you. This is the one that's probably going to make us some chestnuts. You can see those spiky balls at the end there. Those usually each hold around between 2 to 3 nuts in them. They were really good last year. We got a couple nuts. Very, very sweet. They're really delicious. Those are really good. You can see I've got a bunch here. That one's almost like a weeping habit. This one's a real bushy guy, but he's very vigorously growing, very healthy. And then you can see these spots where I've got empties. There's a few that didn't do well. And then I'll show you these down here. There's some that are very concerning to me. They're the ones that look like chestnut blight to me. You know, this one's doing great. That one's doing okay. This one actually got attacked by the sheep one year. They busted through and they broke down half of it. So he's doing good for the trauma that he experienced. But yeah, this is a good one. You can see this one. See how you can see the main tree that was existing at the beginning of this year, how the leaves are all yellowed, and then it's growing all this dark green new growth from the base. It's basically aborting the top and regrowing from the base. And to me, that feels real chestnut blighty. I don't know the other signs and symptoms of chestnut blight. I need to research that, but I know that one of the real common symptoms is they die to the ground and they come back, and they die to the ground. That just happens forever with them, and then they're never productive. So that's one I'm concerned about, and probably might end up replacing that one this year. Not sure. There's another one over here. He decided to die completely. You can see he's all brown and dry and dead. And then there's the regrowth at the base there that came up once it decided this was dead. So yeah, that one, I'm probably going to tear that one out and plant hazelnut there instead. But there's a lot of them that are doing really well. I'm definitely happy, very happy with them. Then the next trees in the row are, I bought a bunch of antonovka rootstock. So antonovka rootstock are basically apple trees, antonovka apples. They're apple trees that are grown from seed and then used as rootstock for, fancy cultivars that people want in particular. But this is the first year that they flowered. I've got a whole bunch of these. Most of those trees you can see there are all antonovka seedlings. They flowered, not all of them flowered this year, but a bunch of them flowered this year. And it's interesting, some of them, like this guy, he made a single decent sized apple there. So we're watching those pretty close. We're ready to snatch them up and try them and see how they taste this year. But we've got, they've done really well. Then there's this one up here. This one has a large number of small apples. So it's interesting, that difference in just the variety of, you know, I shouldn't say the variety, the genetic diversity among these antonovkas and how they grew. You know, some making a lot of little tiny, almost crabapple type apples, and then others making a few big apples. But they, for the most part, you know, have been really pleased with them. They're looking really good, growing very healthily. We had some problems with thatching ants on these, farming aphids on the branches. And then we had to put some that tacky feet stuff on the trees that makes it like a, you know, living sticky trap to keep them from going up there and doing that to them. But they're mostly looking really good. This one's got some apples on it too. This one's also has a larger number of small apples. Like I said, we're excited to taste them and see what they taste like. And then right around here is where I ran out of antonovkas. So there's 2 antonovkas there. And then this is a grafted honeycrisp. Not very vigorous. I'm not sure what kind of rootstock it's on. The seller didn't really know. I'll probably replace this one day, because this is never gonna provide any shade in the pasture, and I do want shade out here. But it's alive, looks healthy. There's some other ones that I'll show you that do not look healthy and are not doing too great. But these are red mulberries. So these are native to the East Coast, and these produce berries every year. They never look super great. They're there. They're never super great. They grew really, really well their first few years, and then they just kind of stopped doing well. This guy, you can see all the dead branches mixed in with him. But, you know, he's alive. Same thing with that one. And I have, you know, white mulberries. You can kind of see that spot. There's a spot there, a spot there, a spot there. White mulberries, they didn't do great. They've had several years to do great, and they keep dying to the ground and then regrowing, so not super happy with that. I have, this is, there was a pear I got from the store. It was a red Danju pear, or Danju pear. And I kept the seeds and I started them, and I got one pear seedling that grew. And it's here. It's about the same age as those Liberty apples I started from Liberty apple seeds. I think I started those the same year. So you can see, you know, he's growing. It looks good. Not growing super fast, but it'll be interesting to see how that one plays out. Then I got 5 butternut seedlings. They're definitely not growing very fast. They're pretty slow. They never look super great, but I've got them in a row going down here. They're okay, but not great. That guy, that's probably the best one over there. It's sort of kind of good. Hopefully they eventually decide to take off. This is one of those Liberty apple seedlings. It's doing pretty good. Not growing very high, but it looks healthy every year. And got some more of the red mulberries in this row. Ones that aren't doing super great. Then in this last row, I have honeycrisps. So these are bought at the same time as the other honeycrisps. You can see they're definitely bigger and healthier. But the ones that are up this way, and even this one too, they're just so vulnerable to anthracnose canker. This one, you can see its trunk, you know, that side's dead. There's a little strip alive right there. There's a little strip that's alive right there, and that's like dead. And then a little strip there that's alive. And then it's got, you know, more issues further down. It's not doing great. I'll probably end up replacing these. They're not very healthy here. This is a Shinseiki pear. And this year it is finally making, so it's supposed to be a Japanese pear, and this year it's finally making pears. You can see some of them on there. So we're eager to taste those. They're less round than most of the Asian pears that I'm used to. So those will be exciting to try. And then these are really bad honeycrisps. They're terrible. A lot of them have major death, or like this anthracnose canker here. Just really, all cankered up really bad. This one, I'm shocked it has any leaves on it at all. You can see that it's dead all the way around there, except for this one little skinny tendril here. That's all that's alive, that little bit right there going up on that side. Not looking good. Similar thing going on with this one. He is just all cankered up here. That's all recent canker. You can see that's all going to be dead and stripped of bark this year. All dead down there. So really shocked that one has anything alive on it. Closer to the house, I planted 2 of those antonovka rootstocks. One here and one here. And then I grafted Liberty Apple scion wood from our Liberty Apple onto both of these. This one didn't do great. You can see its little central stub there, if you can see that or not. It died completely. But it's got these 2 side branches that are still alive. I'm tempted to tear this one out completely, but just because of how unhealthy it was when it originally died. But the other one is doing extremely well. This one looks really, really good. He's doing really great. He's got some apples on here this year. Some nice Liberty apples. Producing very well. And this doesn't really get any attention at all. It got watered twice this year, just a little bit. Really healthy, really tall, really vigorous.